All right, going to be making some caramel coloring that you can use in Amaro. You can use it in Vermouth. You can use, I guess, wherever you need some caramel coloring. Um, we've done this a few times. It's worked really well. Decided to document it. A few people had asked about seeing the process. It's pretty simple. What I like to do is use a cast iron skillet. This is the little like 8-incher. Um, just because you're not making a whole ton, you don't need the huge like 12-inch skillet or whatever. But got a little 8-inch cast iron here, and I've got a cup of sugar, 200 grams sugar, and then that's like 6 tablespoons or 90 mil of water. And basically, you are just going to be heating this up, melting that sugar, and that is going to turn into a nice dark caramel color that you can uh, dilute down. We'll dilute it at the end again, but we'll dilute it with some more water, and then that can be used in your various drinks. So you don't have to add water here. I know that some people don't add water in the very beginning. I don't know why. I just kind of like to do it. It's just all going to evaporate off anyway, but I kind of like just melting this sugar with some water in the beginning rather than just going straight granulated sugar to a melted sugar state. Again, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference either way. I just feel a little bit better just kind of getting it dissolved in water first. But maybe I'm just adding extra time to my whole process, and that's okay. So basically what we're going to do here is, we're going to be boiling off all that water that I just added, and then that's going to be helping that sugar to come to a melting point. What I want to aim for is about 355, 356 degrees Fahrenheit is what I want this sugar to get to. I'm going to turn it down just a bit. And then once it reaches 355, 356 degrees, that's like 180 Celsius. Then I'm going to throw it into an oven that I've got preheating. It's at 310 right now. We need to get it to 340 degrees Fahrenheit or 170 Celsius. And once it's at that temperature, we're just going to throw the cast iron skillet into the oven and let it sit there for about 45 minutes. That 45 minutes is just going to help that darken even more and more and more, and just get it a really, really dark color so that we can then use it in our drinks. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do here. Oven is now preheated, and I'm just going to keep going at this. Once it gets a little bit closer, I'll start taking temperature measurements. And I can actually probably stop stirring now. You don't need to be stirring it the whole time. I was just kind of doing it absent-mindedly as I talked. So we'll let this go, and I'll come back. All right, we are back. It's been about 8 minutes. This has gotten a really dark color. It's at 3. I maybe overshot it just a bit. We're about 380 or so. So I am going to take this off the heat, throw it in the oven, and then let that go for 45 minutes. Then we'll come back. All right, 45 minutes. Gonna pull this out. It's actually, maybe you cannot tell, but it's quite smoky. It was smoky kind of the whole time. Right before I started the video, I needed to be smoky, so I opened it up and let it air out for a minute. But there we go. We've got extremely dark burnt sugar. Now what I need to do is, here I've got another 1 cup or 236 grams of water. I'm going to be adding it to this. I cannot do this on camera because it's going to be too hard. This is going to start sputtering and spurting, and you just keep adding and stirring and stirring and stirring, and basically we're just going to be getting this diluted down. We want to make sure that it doesn't harden and seize up, but adding like that much water, that should take care of this. So I'm going to do that off camera, stir it all together, and then make sure it combines and doesn't seize. If it starts to seize up and starts to harden, you just keep stirring and it usually works out. So I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So you can see there is some bits here that did kind of seize up. That's normal, it's fine. It is, I can tell, like slowly melting. There's still a lot of residual heat in this cast iron, which is one of the reasons that I really like to use it. It takes a while for it to obviously let off all its heat, and I just spilled, and you can see how dark that is. That's great. Just need to clean that up. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep stirring, letting this melt down. You can even see it, you know, as we're going here. It is melting. If I really need to, maybe I will, just for the hell of it, get a really low flame there, just to kind of make sure that it stays a nice temperature that this can melt back down. So probably take a few minutes, 2-3 minutes here. I'll just keep at it, keep stirring, and when we're all done, we'll have a nice, really, really dark caramel color. Okay, we've melted everything down. It's actually also cooled a little bit. I just tested it. It was like 160 degrees Fahrenheit now, so cool enough that I can put it in this jar. The other reason I really love using this small little cast iron skillet is because it's got a little pour lip there for me, but I've never tried this one-handed, so hopefully I don't spill everywhere. I don't want this to be too hot, since it is going into that mason jar. I mean, they can hold high temperature, but you don't want to shock it either. So 160 ought to be fine. You don't want to pour in like 190 degree sugar in there though. Cool, there we go. So this is a pint jar, so I've got maybe a little more than half a pint, maybe 3/4 of a pint. Okay, gonna let that cool a little bit more, and we'll see what it does in a drink. Okay, here we are. There's the caramel coloring. After all is said and done, that's it. It is very, very dark. I tried a little bit. It's bitter. It tastes like burnt sugar, but it needs so little that that flavor doesn't really come through all that strongly when it's all said and done. So here I've got an Amaro that I'm just about finished with. I just need to add sugar and then this color. This is a carciofo style artichoke leaf based. I've made it before and colored it those times, so I've decided to just stick with that and keep coloring it. This is beautiful. Really, really clear, really nice. I'm kind of hesitant about adding color just because it's so pretty, but I'm going to. I made it, so we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do just like 1/4 of a teaspoon at a time here, just so we can kind of see like how little it really does take. Obviously this is not, just trying to get an idea of, yeah, how dark I want it. This was exactly 100 grams of each, on each of these little whiskey cups had 100 grams each in there. I've just added not even 1/4 of a teaspoon here. It's a little difficult to see the difference in the darkness. I'm gonna pull these out of the way. There, you can kind of, There you see. So that's a quarter of a teaspoon in 100 grams worth. I might go a little darker. Traditionally, carciofo is a pretty dark colored Amaro. There's another not quite quarter teaspoon. So I'm maybe, now that's a pretty nice color. It's got a nice hint of red to it. From that sugar actually has a little bit of redness to it. That's probably as dark as I'd go. So yeah, that's not even half a teaspoon in this and looking really nice. So there we are. That's how you make a caramel coloring yourself at home. Trying to make sure we can kind of see that real nice difference there, but there we go. Hope that you found this helpful. I was about to end this, decided one more thing I wanted to say. So I just measured out, that is about half of a teaspoon right there. You know, I got 2/4 teaspoons, and just like I had put in this guy. And that weighs about 2 grams. So now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I know that this is 1,150 grams. That was 100 grams. So I can do all the math, figure it out. It's like 23, 24. Maybe I'll just do 25 grams of this in the end to get a color about like that, slightly darker. So 25 grams will go in the whole batch. And the last thing that I wanted to say was, now that this has been made, you can just throw a lid on it and it will last years. It'll last forever. You use a tiny, tiny amount every time, so it's not a big deal. You know, that you'll have it sitting around for a while because it lasts just fine. Okay, there we go.